The Nunda, eater of people. Once upon a time there lived a sultan who loved his garden dearly, and planted it with trees and flowers and fruits from all parts of the world. He went to see them 3 times every day, first at 7 o'clock, when he got up, then at 3, and lastly, 5:30. There was no plant and no vegetable which escaped his eye, but he lingered longest of all before his one date tree. Now the Sultan had 7 sons. 6 of them he was proud of, for they were strong and manly. But the youngest he disliked, for he spent all his time among the women of the house. The Sultan had talked to him and paid him no heed, and he had beaten him and paid no heed. He had tied him up, and he paid no heed, till at last his father grew tired of trying to make him change his ways, and just left him alone. Time passed, and one day the Sultan, to his great joy, saw signs of fruit on his date tree, and he told his vizier, "My date tree is bearing." And he told his officers, "My date tree is bearing." And he told the judges, "My date tree is bearing." And he told all the rich men of the town. He waited patiently for some days till the dates were nearly ripe, and then he called his 6 sons and said, "One of you must watch the date tree till the dates are ripe. For it is not watched, the slaves will steal them, and I shall not have any for another year." And the eldest son answered, "I will go, father," and he went. The first thing the youth did was to summon his slaves and bid them beat drums all night under the date tree, for he feared he might fall asleep. So the slaves beat the drums, and the young man danced till 4 o'clock. And then it grew so cold that he could dance no longer, and one of the slaves said to him, "It is getting light, the tree is safe. Lie down, master, and go to sleep." Hello there. So he lay down and slept, and his slaves slept likewise. A few minutes went by, and a bird flew down from a neighboring thicket, and ate all the dates, and then the bird went as it had come. Soon after, one of the slaves woke up and looked for the dates, but there were no dates to see. Then he ran to the young man and shook him, saying, "Your father set you to watch the tree, and you have not watched, and the dates have all been eaten by a bird." The lad jumped up and ran to the tree to see for himself, but there was not a date anywhere. He cried aloud, "What am I to say to my father? Shall I tell him the dates have been stolen, or that a great rain fell, or a great storm blew? But he will send to gather them and bring them to him, and there will be none to bring. Shall I tell him that the Bedouins drove me away, and when I returned there were no dates? And he will answer, 'You had slaves. Did they not fight the Bedouins?' It is the truth that will be best, and that I should tell him." Then he went straight to his father and found him sitting in the veranda with his 5 sons around him, and the lad bowed his head. "Give me the news from the garden," said the Sultan. And the youth answered, "The dates have all been eaten by some bird, and there is not one left." The Sultan was silent for a moment. Then he asked, "Where were you when the bird came?" And the lad answered, "I watched the dates till the cocks were crowing and it was getting light, and then I lay down for that when I slept. When I woke, a slave was standing over me, and he said, 'There is not one date left on the tree.' And I went to the date tree and saw it was true, and that is what I have to tell you." And the Sultan replied, "A son like you is only good for eating and sleeping. I have no use for you. Go your way, and when my date tree bears again, I will send another son. Perhaps he will watch better." So he waited many months till the tree was covered with dates, and any tree had ever borne again. When they were near ripening, he sent one of his sons to the garden, saying, "My son, I am longing to taste those dates. Go and watch over them, for today's sun will bring them to perfection." And the lad answered, "My father, I am going now, and tomorrow, when the sun has passed the hour of 7, bid a slave come and gather the dates." "Good," answered the sultan. The youth went to the tree and lay down and slept. And about midnight he arose to look at the tree, and the dates were all still there. Beautiful dates, just swinging in bunches. "Ah, father will have his feast indeed," he thought. "What a fool my brother was not to take more heed. Now he is in disgrace, and we know him no more. Well, I will watch till the bird comes. I should like to see what manner of bird it is." And he sat till the cocks crow, and it grew light, and the dates were still on the tree. "Oh, my father will see his dates, and they are all safe now," he thought to himself. "I will make myself comfortable against the tree." And he leaned against the trunk, and sleep came on him, and the bird flew down and ate all of the dates. When the sun rose, the head man came and looked for the dates, but there were no dates to be seen, and he woke the young man and said to him, "Look at the tree!" The young man looked up, and there were no dates, and his ears were stopped, and his legs trembled, and his tongue grew heavy at the thought of the sultan. His slave became frightened to look at him, and asked, "Master, what is it?" He answered, "I have no pain anywhere, but I am ill everywhere. My whole body is well, but my whole body is sick. I fear my father, for I did not say to him, 'Tomorrow at 7 you shall taste the dates,' and he will drive me away, as he drove away my brother. I will go away myself before he sends me." Then he got up and took a road that led straight past the palace, but he had not walked many steps before he met a man carrying a large silver dish, covered with a white cloth to cover the dates. And the young man said, "The dates are not quite ripe. You should return tomorrow." And the slave went with him to the palace, where the sultan was sitting with his 4 sons. "Good greeting, master," said the youth. And the sultan answered, "Have you seen the man I sent?" "I have, master, but the dates are not yet ripe." But the sultan did not believe his words, and said, "The 2nd year I have eaten no dates because of my sons. Go your ways. You are my son no longer." And the sultan looked at the 4 sons that were left with him, and promised rich gifts to whoever of them would bring him the dates from the tree. But a year by year passed, and he never got them. One son tried to keep himself awake with playing cards. Another mounted a horse and rode around and around the tree, while the 2 others, whom their father, as the last hope, were sent together, lit bonfires. But whatever they did, the result was always the same. Towards dawn, they fell asleep, and the bird ate all the dates in the tree. The 6th year had come, and the dates on the tree were thicker than ever. And the head man went to the palace and told the sultan that he had seen it. But the sultan only shook his head and said sadly, "What is that to me? I have had 7 sons, yet for 5 years the bird has devoured my dates, and this year will be the same as ever." Now the youngest son, who was sitting in the kitchen, as was his custom, when he heard his father say those words, he rose up and went to his father and knelt beside him. "Father, this year you shall eat dates," he cried. "And on the tree are great 5 bunches, and each bunch I will give to a separate nation, for the nations in the town are 5. This time I will watch the date tree myself." But his father and his mother laughed heartily and thought his words were nothing but idle talk. One day, news was brought to the Sultan that the dates were finally ripe, and he ordered one of his men to go and watch the tree. The son, who happened to be standing by, heard the order, and he said, "How is it that you have bidden a man to watch the tree when I, your son, am left?" And his father answered, 6 were of no use, and they all failed. Who is to say you would succeed?" But the boy replied, "Have patience today, and let me go. Tomorrow you shall see whether or not I bring you dates." And the Sultan answered, "I do not refuse to let him go, but my heart distrusts him. His brothers all promised fair, and what did they do?" But the boy entreated, saying, "Father, if you and mother must be alive tomorrow, you shall eat dates." "Go then," said his father. Then the boy reached the garden, and he told the slaves to leave him, and to return home themselves and sleep. When he was alone, he laid himself down, and slept fast till 1 o'clock, when he arose, and he sat opposite the date tree. Then he took some Indian corn out in one fold of his dress, and some sandy grit out of the other. He chewed the corn till he felt it was growing sleepy, and then he put some grit in his mouth, and that kept him awake until the bird came. It looked at first without seeing him, whispering to itself, "There's no one here," and fluttered lightly on the tree and stretched its beak for the dates. Then the boy stole up softly and caught it by the wing. The bird turned and flew quickly away, but the boy never let go, not even when they soared high into the air. "Son of Adam," the bird said when he tops the mountains, looking small below them, "if you fall, you will be dead long before you reach the ground, so go your way and let me go mine." But the boy answered, "Wherever you go, I go with you. You cannot get rid of me." "I did not eat your dates," persisted the bird, "and the day is dawning. Leave me to go my way." But again the boy answered him, "6 brothers are hateful to my father because you came and stole the dates, and today my father shall see you, and my brother shall see you, and all the people of this town, great and small, will see you, and my father's heart will rejoice." "Well, if you will not leave me, I will throw you off," said the bird. So it flew higher still, so high that the earth shone like one of the other stars. "How much of you will be left if you fall from here?" asked the bird. "If I die, I die," said the bird, "but I will not leave you." And the bird saw that it was no use talking, and went down to the earth again. "Here you are at home, so let me go my way," begged once more, "or at least make a covenant with me." "What covenant?" said the boy. "Save me from the sun," replied the bird, "and I will save you from rain." "How can you do that, and how can I tell if I can trust you?" "Pull a feather from my tail and put it in the fire if you want me, and I will come to you wherever I am." And the boy answered, "Well, I agree. Go your way." "Farewell, my friend. When you call me, it is from the depths of the sea. I will come." The lad watched the bird out of sight, and then he went straight to the date tree. And when he saw dates, his heart was glad, and his body felt stronger, and his eyes brighter than before. And he laughed out loud with joy and said to himself, "This is my luck, mine. Sit in the kitchen, fair date tree. I am going to lie down. What ate you will eat you no more." The sun was high in the sky before the head man, whose business it was, came to look at the date tree, expecting to find it stripped of all its fruit. But when he saw the dates so thick that they almost hid the leaves, he ran back to the house and beat a big drum till everybody came running. Even the little children wanted to know what happened. "What is it? What is it?" said Man, they cried. "Oh, it is not the son that the master has, but the lion. This day Sit in the kitchen has uncovered the face before his father." "But how, Headman?" "Today is the day people may eat the dates." "Is it true, Headman?" "Oh, yes, it is true, but let him sleep till each man has brought forth a present. He who has fowls, let him take fowls. He who has a goat, let him take a goat. He who has rice, let him take the rice." And the people did as he said. And then they took the drum and went to the tree where the boy lay sleeping. And they picked him up and carried him away with horns and clarinets and drums and clapping of hands and shrieks of joy straight to his father's home. When his father heard the noise and saw the baskets made of green leaves brimming over with dates, and a son borne high on the necks of slaves, his heart leaped, and he said to himself, "Today, at last, I shall eat dates." So he called his wife to see what her son had done, and ordered his soldiers to take the boy and bring him to his father. "What news, my son?" he said. "News? Well, I have no news except that if you will open your mouth, you shall see what dates taste like." And he plucked a date. "You are indeed my son," cried the Sultan. "You do not take after those fools, those good-for-nothings. But tell me, what did you do with the bird? For it was you, and only you, who watched for it." "Well, yes, it was I who watched for it and who saw it, and it did not come again, neither for its life, nor for your life, nor for the lives of your children." "Oh, once I had 6 sons, now I have only 1. It is you whom I called a fool, and who have given me the dates. As for the others, I want none of them." Bad parenting. But his wife rose up and went to him and said, "Master, do not, I pray, reject them." And she entreated long until the Sultan granted her prayer, for she loved her 6 elder sons more than her last one. So they all lived quietly in the home till the Sultan's cat went and caught a calf. And the owner of the calf went and told the Sultan. But he answered, "The cat is mine, and the calf mine." And he dared not complain further. 2 days after, the cat caught a cow, and the Sultan was told, "Master, the cat has caught a cow." But he only said, "It is my cow and my cat." And the cat waited a few days, and then it caught a donkey. And they told the Sultan, "Master, the cat has caught a donkey." And he said, "My cat and my donkey." Next it was a horse, and after that a camel. When the Sultan was told, he said, "You don't like the cat and want me to kill it? I shall not kill it. Let it eat the camel. Let it even eat a man." And it waited until the next day and caught someone's child. And the Sultan was told, "Sir, the cat caught a child." And he said, "The cat is mine, and so the child is mine." Then it caught a grown-up man. After that, the cat left town and took up its abode in a thicket near the road. So if one passed going for water, it devoured them. If it saw a cow going to feed, it devoured them. If it saw a goat, it devoured them. Whatever went along that road, the cat caught and ate it. Then the people went to the Sultan in a body and told him of all the misdeeds of his cat. But he answered as before, "The cat is mine, and the people are mine." And no man dared to kill the cat, which grew bolder and bolder, and at last came into the town to look for its prey. One day the Sultan said to his 6 sons, "I am going into the country to see how the wheat is growing, and you shall come with me." Well, they went merrily along the road until they came to a thicket. When out sprang the cat, and killed 3 of the sons. "The cat! The cat!" shrieked the soldiers who were with him, and this time the Sultan said, "Seek for it and kill it. It is no longer a cat, but a demon." And the soldiers answered him, "Did we not tell you, master, what the cat was doing? And did you not say, 'My cat and my people'?" And he answered, "True, I did say that." Now the youngest son had not gone with the rest, but he stayed at home with his mother. And when he heard that his brothers had been killed by the cat, he said, "Let me go, that I may also slay it." His mother entreated him not to leave her, and he would not listen. But he took his sword and spear and some rice cakes, and went after the cat, which by this time had run to a great distance. The lad spent many days hunting the cat, which now bore the name of the Nunda, eater of people. But though he killed many wild animals, he saw no trace of the enemy he was hunting for. There was no beast, however fierce, that he was afraid of, till at last his father and mother begged him to give up the chase after the Nunda. But he answered, "What I have said I cannot take back. If I am to die, then I die, but every day I must go and seek for the Nunda." And again his father had offered him what he could, even the crown itself, but the boy would hear nothing, and went on his way. Many times his slaves came and told him, "We have seen footprints, and today we shall behold the Nunda." But the footprints never turned out to be those of the Nunda. They wandered far through deserts and great forests, and at length came to the foot of a great hill, and something in the boy's soul whispered that here was the end of the seeking, and today they would find the Nunda. But before they began to climb the mountain, the boy ordered his slaves to cook some rice. And they rubbed a stick to make a fire, and when the fire was kindled, they cooked the rice and ate it. And then they began to climb. Suddenly, when they had almost reached the top, the slave who was in front cried out, "Master! Master!" And the boy pushed to where the slave stood, and the slave said, "Cast your eyes down at the foot of the mountain." And the boy looked, and his soul told him that this was the Nunda. He crept down with his spear in his hand, and then he stopped and gazed below him. "This must be the real Nunda," he thought. "My mother told me its ears were small, and this one's ears are small. She told me that it was broad and not long, and this is broad and not long. She told me it had spots like a civet cat, and this has spots like a civet cat." Then he left the Nunda lying asleep at the foot of the mountain, and went back to his slaves. "We will feast today," he said. "Make cakes of batter and some spring water." And they all ate and drank. And when they finished, he bade them to hide the rest of the food in the thicket. If they slew the Nunda, they might return and eat and sleep before going back to town. And the slaves did as he bade them. It was now afternoon, and the lad said, "It is time we go after the Nunda." Then they went till they reached the bottom, and came to the great forests which lay between them and the Nunda. Here the lad stopped, and ordered every slave that wore 2 clothes to cast away one, and tuck up the other between his legs. "For," he said, The wood is not a little one. Perhaps we may get caught by thorns, and perhaps we may run a little before the Nunda. And the cloth might bind our legs, and cause us to fall before it. And they answered, "Good, master," and they did as they bade him. Then they crawled on their hands and knees to where the Nunda lay asleep. Noiselessly, they crept along until they were quite close to it. Then, at a sign from the boy, they threw their spears. The Nunda did not stir. The spears had done their work. But a great fear seized them all, and they ran away and climbed up the mountain. The sun was setting when they reached the top, and glad they were to take the fruit and cakes and the water which they had hidden away, and sat down and rested themselves. And after they had eaten and were full, they lay down and slept until morning. When the dawn broke, they rose up and cooked more rice and drank more water. After that, they walked round back to the mountain, the place where they had left the Nunda. They saw it stretched out where they had found it, stiff and dead. And they took it up and carried it back to the town, singing as they went, "He has killed the Nunda, the eater of people." When his father heard the news, and that his son was come, and was bringing the Nunda with him, he felt the man did not dwell on earth whose joy was greater than his. And the people bowed down to the boy, and gave him presents, and loved him, because he had delivered them from the bondage of fear,